Poor little Chucky. Poor little Chucky. That's right. Today we'll be talking a little bit about Charles Lee Ray, otherwise known as Chucky, the good guy doll who is not a very good guy at all. And Chucky started off as he is known as a serial killer, but really, if you look at his character before becoming Chucky, he's sort of a hood with a really bad temper that can be pushed under the right circumstances into being a true serial killer. Traditionally, most people don't think of gangsters as serial killers, but in many ways they are. It's just that it's sort of a different tone. Chucky snaps in and out of being one sometimes a gangster and sometimes a man possessed, and it's usually triggered by anger and sometimes a deranged sickness of sorts. His main objective is to get out of his little doll body. At least that was his objective right up until about Seed of Chucky, I believe, when he finally accepted being a doll. And that was sort of a bummer. Now, one thing to point out about the Child's Play movies is that Andy has a really messed up life as a result of these situations. You would think that they would have corroboration of these incidents after part one, when two cops witness the Chucky doll coming alive and personally blow it to smithereens, and there's all the blood and stuff everywhere, and there's the kid, there's the mother, there's the two cops who witnessed that the doll was indeed alive. Yet somehow in the very next film, the murders are blamed either on the mother or still on Andy, and he goes into foster care. So Chucky will make your life very miserable, even if you defeat him. Because if you're not going to convince the public after that incident in part one, then you're never going to convince it of anything. So Andy goes through the first three films with his life ruined after each one, and eventually lands in the military academy. And I was really disappointed that they dropped the Andy storyline when they got into Bride of Chucky. Bride of Chucky is a really cool film, don't get me wrong here, but I was really curious as to what exactly happened to Andy. You know, the poor guy probably became some kind of drifter or something, or maybe he's spending 20 to life in prison. What would be a really interesting idea, like for a future film about Chucky, is that maybe you could have Andy doing like De Niro did in Cape Fear, and doing all those chin-ups and stuff, and having tattoos of Chucky all over himself, and getting ready to come back and whoop the tar out of that little doll son of a bitch bastard because he ruined his life, man. Oh man, Chucky is a motherfucker for what he does to Andy. But anyway, just a real explosive personality. In many ways, I sort of look at him. He seems like Jack Nicholson to me in a way when you look at Chucky. He has that sort of flair about him. And Dorff just plays him beautifully with such a rage that he gets into. And you can see it throughout all of his films now. Anything you watch with Brad Dourif in it, whenever he gets angry or outraged, you can immediately spot Chucky from a mile away if you know who you're looking at. And it is just a blast, and it is truly his voice, by the way, no altering and anything else.